Okay, so we're in here for Echo. This is totally Echo. All good.
This is a standard strat in
Yes, yeah, nah.
Masters EU scrims.
Mm-hmm.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Teleporter online.
It's fine, you want to hit
We
it
will
there.
start the payload. Personality synchronization 100%. Good to be back.
Okay, you can take a moment to push there if you want. What are the comms like? Are you getting much? I mean, you guys are obviously running a double bubble composition. Are you getting much in terms of comms from timing from your monkey, or are you just gonna have to play this by sight for most of this game?
Usually, I'm waiting for my monkey to say I can go,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll boost up and sticky the high ground, see what's happening, and then find a target
Sure, sure.
with my monkey.
Okay.
I need a health restore.
That's not perfect, but this is really south of where we've ended up in this. So here we are. We've decided to push cart, which isn't amazing for us. Like, again, this sort of becomes you chose to push cart rather than contribute to sort of stuffing this, and this really depends on what you think your monkey's timing is going to be. Like, if we go back here to this,
Personality synchronization 100%.
this really becomes
Good to be
okay,
back.
our monkey is here, you're using your first flight, which you canceled early.
Personality synchronization 100%.
Oh no, you're not using flight here, my bad. You're just going directly to point. So, I don't think your monkey is going to hard engage into this, do you?
No.
Right. So if he's not going to hard engage into this, you really do have time to go, hey, I'm going to do a bit of flight up here, and I'm potentially, if my monkey soft engages into this, which I do potentially expect, send spam down here, right? Like the thing that you give up by going for some poke down this, where they're all clustered, is the ability to immediately hit a contribution over here if your monkey goes over here. Do you have any communication on which of these is happening yet?
Not yet. I don't think so.
Okay, so you have to make a decision. Do you think that you're going to do a hard dive that you want to be a part of over here on your monkey's first cycle in, based on your experience on Gibraltar, or is a monkey more likely to go here? Because you only get to do one of those, right? Like if you do this and your monkey goes here, you're not really going to be able to contribute. I mean, you could, do a little bit of slow falling, but you're not really going to be able to contribute. On the other hand, if you wait to see if he's going to, you're not going to then have your flight up for the second thing. So which do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, he usually tries to contest the bridge and clear the high ground.
Right.
In that direction.
Contest here, you're saying? Or
Yes.
okay, yeah. That's what I expect to happen too. So I want to actually use a flight. I'm not super interested in, this cart push. That's a Tracer thing. Tracer can handle that. I'm looking to go, hey, can I get some height to be ready to send some poke down here, to be able to actually contribute here and to have my flight cooldown already sort of circling back. So you're here. You don't take the shot at the Tracer, which is a little weird. I suspect you just didn't see it. Now you know it's there. And then you hit this reload, which is unfortunate, because this reload is, of course, locking you out, again, of hitting this Tracer. But as all this is happening, you're now using your flight, and now your timing sort of sucks for this flight, right?
Yes, yeah, it does.
Right. So this is really just a case of, hey, I wasn't really interested in this. I wasn't super interested in the Tracer fight. I don't hate the Tracer fight, but I really was looking less on the cart push and more on, can I be up here to just focus shots down here where I know I'm going to get some amount of poke, some amount of contribution value. So not a big deal, just sort of thinking through really what are our priorities? How do we expect this first 30 seconds of the match, which, plays out in a similar way most times, to play out?
System health compromised.
Uh-huh. This is going to be a thing for you, isn't
I
it?
need a health restore.
So you go up here.
It definitely is.
System
What's
health
that?
compromised.
It definitely is.
Okay, so you just hit your reload here, and again, there wasn't a great reason to hit your reload here. Like, we're looking at this, and there were totally shots to hit here. You had 9 shots, and you just hit your reload
Why
here.
did I reload?
Exactly.
Yeah.
fine. You're gonna go vertical. No, you're gonna get slept. Okay, so even before you get slept, though, like this is happening. This. No, you get slept before it's real. Okay, that's fine. Your monkey looked like he was coming back for a moment. That's fine. You can't make me. You sure? You sure about this one? So, like, we look at this, and like, I get it. You have the bubble here, and that's nice protection versus, hey, out here, I'm vulnerable. But this is almost every time going to be this just because this is too one directional. If all of your team's threat is coming from this direction, it's too easy for them to drop down here, for them to tuck over here, etc. Like, I know it's a little scary to be out here because, hey, the McCree can snipe you, and hey, you might have the easier focusing beam from here, but like, it's pretty darn important that we hit from this second angle here, and hopefully that McCree's weak enough that he's someone that we can go in and focus beam on. But like, this is one dimensional. Our tracer's not helping. I really would prefer that we take the angle as opposed to forcing this. Let's take a look. Like, I get that you see the weak monkey, but the weak monkey is going to get pushed, is going to be causing them to retreat.
Lock on my target.
And we can be doing a lot of work from the other angle here.
Yeah, I see that.
Unfortunate. Not really a scenario where we want to drop down here. Like, yes, we have some level of, hey, is this clear? But as soon as we know this is clear, again, we want our angle. Like, second point is going to be hard to take angles on, but first point is not terribly hard to take angles on. Your team goes through here, well, you push here. Your team's dropping, figuring this stuff out, great, we can just go take blue box. We know Gibraltar, we know blue box is incredibly powerful. Oh, they've retreated back over there? Well, that's fine. I've still got contribution I can do here. What do you know? I can dominate the tracer with my tracer while they take him. That's much better than going down here. I don't want to get tucked down here as Echo.
Executing flight maneuver.
Good. Unfortunate.
Payloads moving forward.
Sure.
I'm taking damage.
Okay, so you see this again. We're here.
Payloads moving forward.
We're going like this. We fire one shot. And then for some reason, even though we like see that there's these things on our screen, gotta press that reload button. Can't get stuck in a fight with less than 12 ammo.
I'm taking damage. Changing position.
Sure. So this is a little dicey in terms of how we're doing here. We see this. The McCree is definitely scary to us, sure. But our cover is probably this thing right here. So we want to be getting ourselves to a situation where we can actively use this as cover if we need to. Instead, I just hope he doesn't hit me. I hope he doesn't hit me. I hope Pin Banana don't hit me. What?
System health compromised. Finishing them off.
What was the... Oh, you wanted the brig.
System
Okay.
health compromised. Finishing them off.
No, I'm not sure the brig was the trigger. What were you initially going for
I'm
here
not
with your
sure.
focusing beam? Okay, because that's like a 90% health monkey that it looked like you were going for. That's very confusing to me.
I think, see, like, one of the ideas that we have in Double Bubble is when the monkey is in a position and or when the enemy monkey is attacking or engaging on us and uses his bubble, our, like, call is break bubble, so we can just insta-kill him. But honestly, no, I think that was just a no-brain laser.
Okay, so that is a thing, and this is a scrim environment. This is not ladder, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so that's fine. Like, it is a play to go, hey, we're going to punish Monkey when he comes in. Generally, what you end up with there, though, is do you guys send your monkey back at them when their monkey comes in? Or is this a, no, we're going to hard counter dive, all of us are going to focus on their monkey?
We trade monkeys, yeah. So our monkey would go in.
Okay.
At the same time.
Pretty normal in those situations for you then to go with the monkey and sort of be like, nope, so we're going to make this a little more dangerous. But that's okay. If you want to stay back and go, hey, I'm going to be part of the anti-monkey team, that's not the end of the world. It's just I'd say a little unusual. It's sort of how your kit fits in terms of like, hey, you're going to get much better openings to say focusing beam monkey targets, things that a monkey zaps, than you are on a
Hmm.
monkey that comes in. Because again, a monkey that comes in is going to have more life. You're going to have to get through barriers before you get him weak enough that your focusing beam works. And he's potentially going to have two things to boost his life back up in the form of nano and primal. Like, generally, your distribution of labor is your Echo will go in with your monkey almost every time. Now, if you were playing like McCree right now, sure, you could be coming back, you could be playing this counter monkey style. But even if you guys are going, we expect our actual win condition to be to punish the monkey, it usually makes more sense for your Echo to go with your own monkey. Not like a 100% rule, but as you can sort of see from how that works, from how those things happen, well, I think you see where I'm going with this. So I might
Yes.
recommend that you guys take a look at that and think about that from a macro standpoint a bit more closely. Um,
Okay.
as well as, we can get into this in terms of who do you duplicate when you duplicate in this mirror.
Um, Usually monkey. If there's a diva, I go diva.
Okay, right. So, and if you're duplicating monkey, who are you most effective against? Not their monkey, right?
Yeah.
So like between the focusing beam, the duplicate, the ults that can come in from them, like it sort of hits this place where it generally makes sense, even if you're going into a 2v4, where it's the two of you versus them running a McCree in their backline, so they've dropped someone in favor of a McCree, so you're fighting Zarya, McCree, Brig, Anna. Even if you're going into that, it usually makes sense for you to go in because your monkey's bubble is in play. That McCree can't immediately focus you, and okay, you're in a
Hmm.
2v4, so be it. It still generally makes sense, but that's okay. For now, we're going like this. Yep.
Hi.
Sure.
The payload has reached the chip. Taking off.
I don't know why you expect that Zarya to be weak. You haven't hit any shots to give you that information, and it's just a monkey on them, but okay. Sure.
Sometimes a little patience is called for. Hi.
Interesting. Why are you on right side rather than having shifted to left side and go up with flight here?
Hope I'm about to.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I just would have expected the stickies because the stickies are sort of your powerful opener to come from that surprise angle as opposed to this, which is where you'd been spamming them from. But that's okay.
Boosting up.
Okay. Fine.
Fire at will. Triple kill. Hello.
Yeah, you guys should just do that every team fight.
Mobility increased. The payload has reached.
Okay. Sure.
Burning them down. Moving up.
It's fine. Now you're gonna go in for a hard push with your double monkey. Okay. So they're just not giving you a real commit here. That's fine. On the next real commit, we hope you get something real. Again, I'm not sure quite why we're going for this. So here, I just have no belief that we're going to get a finish here. Like they're playing, you have no follow-up set up here, right? Like you don't have your tracer on an angle. You guys don't have real. I mean, you could run forward with rally. That would be an option, but your team really isn't in position to get eliminations here, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So I'm looking at this and going, I don't think we can get this monkey. Even if this monkey's at 70% life, even if he was at 60% life, even if he was at 50% life, with where he is, I'm not convinced that I want to focusing beam him because it's a long cooldown that I probably won't have for the next. Okay, we actually are ready to engage thing here. Like we go through here, and now we've got 8 seconds on this, and like I just look at this and go, we were never going to be able to. Like even if their monkey didn't have leap, he's just going to round this corner harder, and I just
Hmm.
don't really believe in our ability. It helps that we have this tracer here, don't get me wrong, but I just don't believe in our ability with our backline all the way back here to force an elimination onto this monkey right now. So I'd rather have my focusing beam for our second tempo, because this comp sort of operates in tempos where it's like, okay, we go in for the first jump where we've got the Zarya bubble plus the monkey bubble, etc. Then our monkey leaps out, then he sort of waits for his next thing, waits a couple extra seconds, and then he goes in again for what is your real commit where he has the Zarya bubble and the monkey bubble again. But now, this time, your DPS have angles and your Zarya has energy, and maybe you're going to run forward and grab. Maybe you're going to run forward and rally, etc. But like the first one isn't real, and if you sort of look at what this engage was, unless you saw a big opening, this engage didn't look like it was real to me. This engage looked like it was the engage for monkeys to charge energy. This didn't look like something where your team was set up or their team was set up to really convert to eliminations, which doesn't mean you can't reach for them, but that didn't look high enough odds to invest focusing to me for. Okay.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Winston.
Mm-hmm. So we're looking at this, and we really know that they've got their combo here. So like you're planning to win this fight with what now? Because like they've hit the, you know that they've got their combo, that they're going to big bang you here. You know that they got a couple people. This is probably going to get something. What are you planning to win this fight with? Because you've committed duplicate to this. So how are you going to win?
I don't think we're gonna win.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just pointing out that it's okay, like especially here, to go, oh, this isn't last fight or anything. We can just totally eat the loss here. It sucks to eat the loss, but they set up their grab properly. They got a meaningful grab. They used this. I don't want to commit my ult when I'm in the grab like this. Like yes, it'll cause you to survive, but your team's not going to survive this. And sure enough,
Winston.
yeah.
Neural adaptation complete. Executing flight maneuvers.
Okay. Great. It's fine. You'll have the cooldown back reasonably. Sure glad we're reloading with this Winston in front of us. I mean, that was just a little funky how you even chose to deploy that. Like, that's a weird drag. Usually we try to lead where we think they're going, so we'd be dragging this left, not this drag right here, and that's a really far drag to the right. So we're going to keep an eye on those to see what your usual deploys look like a little more.
I think they look better usually.
I think they do too, because that was unusual.
I remember shooting that and I was like, oh god, what did I just do?
Why is the payload stop? Thanks.
Okay.
Flight routine activated.
Fine. Get open. I'm a little less a fan of this second flight here. The first flight I'm totally good with. This I'm less of a fan with because yes, it lets you go in, it lets you push him a little bit harder, but it does mean that, hey, if your Trace is ready to do something, you can't go with him. If your Zarya is actually gonna, okay, your Zarya doesn't have a grab. No, I suppose it's fine. You're on first tempo. That's fine. You're just battling for space right now. Not the first time we've stuck a corner when meaning to get it past. Yeah, that's a better sticky boy.
I need a health restore. Thank you.
Okay. So, what different angles can we hit as Echo? Because this is about our third time trying this same angle. That is the same angle our team is pushing. So I understood, hey, we were here, pushing the monkey from here while our team was here. That was a different angle. Now that these guys are deployed like this, what other angles are available to us as Echo?
I like to go kind of back left, background, to shoot
Yep.
the bridge.
Right over here, perfectly valid. Yep.
Yeah.
That would be perfectly reasonable. We could also, in theory, just get ourselves over here. That would be an option. It's a little bit different. But yeah, this would be the normal angle to try and break them with. And there's very little reason not to. So it's just a matter of finding the right timing to do so. So we're looking at this. Fine, we're on the ground. We have flight. So Tracer's back. Oh, we are going to go for it now. Good. Okay.
Hi. Let's get this thing moving. System health compromised. Thanks. Get at the back in. Lifting off. System health compromised. On my way.
You just... Okay, there's your repair back. No, you're just not going to get repair backs. Okay. Mostly because you have a mercy.
Mercy there.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm seeing that. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so spamming the Winston out early, cool. This, much less cool. I don't really like that our Winston is trying to fight Tracer over here. This isn't really what we want. But okay, we'll deal. You're over here. It's fine. Your Winston didn't go in hard enough for you to go with him.
Let me get you patched up.
I could push if that would help. Boosting up. Time.
Okay. Is this a, hey, my team is about to dive, so I want full resources reload, or is what is this? It's fine. It doesn't have to be that. It can just be it's just a, OCD reload. That's not, we'll work to fix it, but if that's what it is, that's what it is.
It definitely is. It's
Okay.
like spamming R for no reason in particular.
Okay.
Hi.
I don't really want to rotate through here.
I take damage.
I don't know why you wanted to rotate through here. Okay. Like, again, even though they know you're here and they know you're going to threaten this after you get their monkey out, I still feel very little reason to not push this, threaten their monkey out, and then help our team get that space. And once our team has this space, our team goes this way, we go this way. Like, it's very predictable what you're
Yeah.
doing, but it's strong. Or it would be predictable to do it this way, but it's strong to do it this way. I'm not sure why you're going, I'm going to go with my team to fight this tracer. Like, yes, in general, poking tracers, poking Winston stops them from triggering their dive, which is very nice. But we're not going to do it inside. We don't want to fight in closed spaces as Echo. That's, if we get against Ashe, maybe we'll fight in closed spaces, but that's Tracer. And we kind of know it.
Hello. I need a health restore.
And I'm not really worried about needing to drop here. Like, yes, I can leave now that your team's left hard enough. Sure.
Hi.
Mm-hmm.
Flight routine activated.
Sure. No. So I'm good if you want to do this, but you should still land here. There's very little reason to let this flight have you drop back on the ground as opposed to ending here. Because, like, yes, you get what? Maybe 2 more shots by just continuing to drop below this elevation, as opposed to going over here where you'll be able to put pressure here. And if you're feeling like, I don't want to shoot the Winston because I don't want to feed their Ana Nano, fine, shoot the Tracer instead. Like, I assume that's what's going on here, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so fine. Shoot the Tracer instead. Keep pressure on the Tracer. No big deal. But don't let yourself end up in the situation where now you're having to fly up from low ground again. Because if you're having to fly up from low ground, no kidding, you're not going to get very much work done here. If your flights are starting from here, you're going to have all the time in the world to put pressure in this direction if you want. If your flights are starting from here, you can get to do very little pressure from here, and it's going to be very rare that you go from here. But I like making this Echo do this Ashe do big swings to adjust her aim, big swings to adjust her aim, potentially getting the jump on her or the Ana when they're scoped in here. Like, this is what we want, to be able to go up. I'm over here doing this from here, and I can float over and poke you from here as well. I have options if my flight's end here. You're letting yourself drift back to the ground so often that it's then kind of a hassle to get over here. And that's why you're not doing very many pokes from here. And this is what will help unlock the map for you guys.
Makes sense.
Fire at will.
You just didn't respect the sightline hard enough where, hey, it's the sightline. We just need to be a little bit further back. Doesn't make the shot any harder for us, but no big.
Going free. 10 seconds.
It's okay. You're going to transform into Bob, right? You can do that. Totally.
I wish.
Payload's moving. Hi. Duplication initiated.
Sure.
Winston.
Unfortunate. Not your target. Not your target. Swap to the Ana.
Personality. I need a help.
We can micro this, sure. So here you are.
Adaptive circuits
You see the
engaged.
monkey, which is fine with me. But Zarya isn't an amazing target for monkey. This is better. This is fine.
Winston.
Except that we just, don't hit our jump here. So be it. And now we don't have our bubble, which makes this way more scary. So you're on Zarya because you don't have your bubble to challenge the Ana. Fine. Okay, you heard her miss her sleep. We just didn't hear it in my pauses. We heard her miss her sleep. She is now the target we're interested in. So we would very much like to swap to Ana. Yes, I know that this Zarya seems like they have health, but you're just not going to get this Zarya eliminated here without more help than I'm seeing. So we want to go, okay, we're getting both. Great. And then you go for your Primal here, and we've got this Bubble. Can we take down Bubbles as Primaling Winston?
I don't think so, right?
Right, no, we really can't. Yes, we could get 120 burst damage, but that's still not going to take a bubble, and then before we can follow it up with more damage, the bubble will have naturally expired. So it's not really
Yeah.
what we want. What we want is this Anna, who's already told us that she doesn't have her sleep. Now, if we, we could in theory go, hey, no, I want to fight the Valking Mercy, but we're not going to do that because I'm not going to pretend that you have the mechanics to do that. But we can absolutely go, sure, if you want to knock it away, I guess. But as we can see, they're already healed up. We definitely want to be on the Anna at this point. That is a nano bubbled Zarya that's already been tossed around. Now maybe you're thinking, hey, I can sort of keep them distracted, not let them get value, but I want this Anna elimination. And I think we can do it. Even with that nade there, I think we can do it. So we're here, and you're just holding down left click, aren't you? Yep.
Basically.
Yep. Okay. So do you know how primals work with Winston? Like how you try to get burst damage out of them?
I don't think I understand it entirely, no.
Okay, cool. So from primals, we can effectively think of this as levels of primal. Sort of the most basic level of primal is, well, I'll throw people around or try to knock people off the edge. Like that's sort of the most basic level of primal. That's very situational. You can't use that how you want, and you're going to be in a ton of situations when you can't because you just have to use your primals when you get them as echo. So what you're instead looking to do when you use your primals is to go, I want to get burst damage. And what you're going to do for in the beginning to get your burst damage is you're going to go, I'm going to jump at someone, or more likely, I'm going to jump at someone as duplicate Winston. I'm going to be, hit my melee jump, etc. And then I'm going to primal transform, or I'm going to primal transform, after I'm on top of them and zapping them. Great. That's a thing that I'm happy to do. So now you're standing basically on top of them and you've transformed with a primal, and you're immediately going to hit them away with your left click, right? Because you jumped on top of them as regular Winston and hit a melee, and then you primal transform and you knock them away with a left click. We're on the same page so far?
Yep.
Cool. So now you're going to do an S jump, just a very minor S jump. And at this first level of Primal Mastery, what you're going to do is you're going to try to land on top of them or on top of where they're going with this S jump. And right as you're landing, you're also going to tap left click. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to actually hit them with your landing damage first, because your landing damage, while it knocks them away, does not knock them away very far or very quickly compared to how your left click knocks them away. And then as they're sort of being knocked up and away by your landing damage, that's when you want your left click to connect, because your left click will knock them away harder and faster. Are you with me so far?
Yep.
So that would be your 90 damage right there. You get your 50 landing plus your 40 from the hit, and hey, that's pretty good. You jump landed on them as regular Winston, which is 50 plus 70 from the melee. Maybe you zap them a little. You transform, you knock them away for 40, and then you immediately S jump on where they're going to land, and that's up to another 50, and then you hit them for another 40. That's pretty good. We don't necessarily dislike that whatsoever. Cool. If you can do that, you'll be doing perfectly fine. This is roughly in diamond, right?
Yes, I'm diamond.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So if
Yep.
you're looking at roughly diamond, that's going to be more than fine for you. If you really start getting advanced with your primals, you end up in situations where you actually try to hit them with the very end. You swing early. So when you're jumping at them for the first time in primal, you swing early in your primal and you try to catch them with the very end of your swing. Because Winston swings are sort of like Reinhardt swings, where he can do one swing and then he swings back from the other direction. So you can end up in a situation
Yeah.
where you try to go, hey, I'm doing this. I'm trying to catch you at the very, very end of my first swing. And that's going to knock you away really fast, but I've got the timing just right. My camera tilted just right, so I hit you right as I hit you right before I land. So now you've been hit by both, and you're going to get hit. So it's going to be you're hit by my very end of my first left click. I get my landing damage, and then as you're being knocked away by the end of my first left click and my landing damage, then while you're sort of on your arc up and away, I catch you at the very beginning of my second one. And then I get a 120 damage or so burst right in that tiny little window right there. And that would truly be like the perfect primal. But you just don't need that. If you can do this sort of 50-40 S jump, 50-40 S jump type thing repeatedly, you can still get 2 eliminations out of a primal with that pretty reliably. So like that's way harder to do. This hit them with the very end, then do the next thing, then get the landing damage, then do that. And if you're playing Echo, not Winston, I wouldn't necessarily recommend you go learn that. So like you should know that that exists, but I'd really recommend this first one where you're going, hey, I'm jumping on them and I'm trying to do this in such a way where I hit my landing damage and then immediately get my swing damage right after that. And that'll be plenty good for you. Does that make sense conceptually how to do it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And then I'd actually practice that. I would go pick Winston, not Echo, pick Winston. You can pick Echo if you want, and just turn up your passive ult charge in a custom game. You can just build yourself a custom game lobby where you turn up your ult charge, both passive and active, a ton. Give yourself a bunch of bots and practice doing that first type of primal. Might take you half an hour, might take you 2 hours, but do it until you feel you can reliably do it. And then like once a week for 3 or 4 weeks for like 30 minutes, just go practice hitting your primal in that first way that I talked about. I know that seems like a lot of work for a hero that you're not playing, but you kind of are playing it, and that is
No, I'm
your
very
ult
open to
right
that.
now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Cool. So I'd recommend that. You'll get a lot more power out of these ults, and you'd have looked at this Ana and been like, okay, I used my whole primal, and all I got was the Ana, but that'll still be a big upgrade over what you got here.
Personality. Go on. I need help.
Yeah. We could talk about maybe the flight directly up here wasn't the best idea. Maybe we wanted to go a little more over here where we had something resembling cover, but ultimately this is over time, and this fight was lost here.
Ready for battle. Don't just stand around. Do something. Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Winston, have you ever noticed any similarities between Athena and me?
You both have a dry sense of humor?
Perhaps that is programming we share.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the
Changing position.
Sure. Okay. So let's think this through. You're here. You decide to fly up to here. I don't particularly like this. And I don't particularly like this because you're putting yourself into Winston Cleave, but also because you're stacking on your team. Do you really want to be stacked on your team as Echo?
Not in general, no.
Right. So I look at this and go, hey, it could be scary if they had Widow or something, sure, which, hey, they do. But generally, are you here because they have a Widow? Is that why you didn't go, hey, I'm going to poke you from over here, for example? Is that what happened? Because usually I'd look at this and go, I don't want to be here, and my instinct shouldn't be to go here because I know this is a play where they come here, their Winston and Echo come around here, maybe the Tracer comes around here. Like, this is the standard sort of for them to show up like this, and I'd rather be outside of this. I'd rather have the angle on them so that if their Winston, Echo, Tracer, whatever show up here for this to, hit my team, hit my core from two different directions, I'm outside of that, and I have an angle on that to punish that. It's a little different, obviously, with the Widow, but were you aware of the Widow at this point?
Yeah, I tried to get out of her sight line when I saw her peek the right side window.
Okay, that's fine. And you're stacking here to avoid the Widow, which is reasonable, but a little bit scary. Okay. Sure. Don't do it. Don't do it. So you probably gave yourself away by being quite so active here. It's not like you couldn't have waited on team comms for when their Winston came in, for when they went in, for when it looked like their front line was running for you to make your play of, hey, I'm going to pop up and go challenge their back line. I assume you're waiting to see if there's an open and go challenge their Widow, but so be it.
Yeah, I think if I just stayed right where I am, or right where I was there, just behind,
Yep.
fully out of LOS, that would have been far better.
Exactly.
Focus with me.
Fine.
Health restored.
Forgot some need. Enemy contact.
Hi.
Oh boy.
Oh.
I mean, you'd peeked this angle a lot of times. It's not exactly like this is unusual, and we sort of know, like, hey, what we're really looking to do is what you were looking to do last time, which is when they aggress, can we get a chance to jump on them? But so be it.
Hi.
And are you choosing to stay here because you think the terrain will allow the matchup to work for you? Or are you choosing to stay here because your swap is to Tracer and your other player's on Tracer? Or are you choosing to stay because of the ult situation? Like,
Just stay on Echo, you mean?
yes, to stay on Echo as opposed to swapping to a McCree or potentially a Sombra here.
Basically we haven't practiced it.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. I am, yeah, it's kind of like my ace, my, like, best hero.
Sure,
So whenever we can run it, we try to.
absolutely. You heard the shots. You can go off of that. I'm not convinced that you have enough. Yeah, I'm not really willing to make that play.
Yeah.
I know I'm looking at this, but like, if your Winston can't go touch card, I'm not interested in this. Because, again, we know how important second point snowball is. If you think your Winston can do some real touch, sure, but I would much, much rather avoid the second point snowball than throw bodies at the cart right now. So be it. Try desperately to get an elimination. Not happening. Okay.
Down for the count.
Mobility increase.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
Okay. That's Infocytes.
Widowmaker here.
We could be better with our crosshair placement while waiting, but I'll lay off on that. That was predictable.
Oh no.
Sure.
Changing position.
Interesting.
Fire at will.
Okay.
Oh no.
It happens.
Yeah, that was rough.
A little bit. Okay. And this is over. Yep. Yeah, so I know you were complaining about the entering of this point. On your offense, you didn't have any trouble on entering this point, and on your defense, you had trouble entering this point, but that's because they took the first half of it with Infocyte. So, like, I'm not too worried about that. So we can talk about this from a more conceptual manner, if that's what you'd like to do. If so, would you like to think about this more from attack or defense?
Attack.
Okay. So from the attacker's perspective, in this sort of mirror type situation, what you're just going to be looking to do is go, I'm still going to look for my Winston to sort of lead the show, go, hey, my Winston's coming out here or my Winston's coming out here, and he's going to do what he can to jump the shuttle, and I'm going to come out on a different angle, probably this one, and I'm going to go, hey, can I support this from here? Can I go, hey, my Winston's in, his bubble goes down, and that does the job, and he had his Zarya bubble as he broke through here to try to do this. So you just have to make your timing completely tied to his timing, farming in order for you to get in, and then you're generally going to come out over here. Your team is also going to try to go through this way behind your Winston, and they're going to use your and your Winston soft engage. Your Winston is jumping in here with his bubbles. You're flying in from here, trying to do what you can, and then you're ready to just drop. You're ready to go, okay, I don't like this, so I'm just going to drop and try to survive here while your team has gotten here. And then once your team has gotten here, they're going to try to come out for a real push, and then you join this, and this is your real push. And I'm not going to claim that this is super easy and is going to work first try every time, but this is what you're trying to do. You're trying to go, hey, we're doing a contest, and this contest's point, as you want to call it, is to get our team from here into here. And there isn't really anything better. You can't peek it first. You can't take a poke war. You just have to go. My Winston has resources. 3, 2, 1, go. He goes, and his going, you try to be like half a second behind, and then you've got that Winston bubble in the way that's giving you the cover, and then you accept that, okay, I did the poke that I could, and I either went down, or if for some reason I'm still back here, which I shouldn't be, I'll tuck in here. But that's about all you've got, and it's just going to take sort of repeatedly running that. It gets more complicated with, hey, maybe you guys get knocked down because they primal, but then you have rally and your team is willing to continue to push because they have rally, things like that. But from a neutral standpoint, that's really what you're looking at. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Usually, I think the last time we had a lot of trouble on this, we were trying to push low ground into the mega room.
Yep.
And we were just getting absolutely abused.
Yep, you absolutely will.
The whole time.
This rotation is simply too long. Like, this rotation is simply too long. This rotation is still annoying because they'll send bubbled Winstons at you with nanos, with primals to mess you up, and they'll regularly knock you off. But you get into, okay, your Winston comes in here, fine, we'll grab pulse bomb it, or fine, we got knocked down and we'll rally and continue from here type thing. Like, that's what it turns into, but you're trying to get this rotation off effectively.
Yeah.
That was a learning experience.
Okay.
I've taken damage.
Well, that happened.
Hey there. Executing flight order. Adaptive circuit. Executing flight.
You're going up here, you're pressuring. You're going to keep this good between you and the opposing team. Tempo's a little bit wacky right now in that you don't have flight, so you can't go in even though you forced this. I'm not convinced that I need to shoot at this Winston. Again, you're playing this hyper peel game because that's something that your team has decided we do. And hey, there's things over here to be worried about. But like at this point, I would be more interested in, hey, I bet we can chunk this than I am on this Winston. But hey, that's a macro thing that you and your team have to come to the same page on. Especially if I can get my duplicate, which I can, and then we're just going Anna, right?
Winston.
Oh boy, that was, well, that would be not being comfortable with Winston. So here we are.
The payload is approaching its destination.
And this is unfortunate, right? Because you've now used both of your team's bubbles immediately, and your Anna's not in range of your Winstons, and both of your bubbles are out. And she still has her sleep dart, right?
Yep.
So dropping your bubble sort of is a leash. So you just have to go, like, the two of you should easily be able to abuse an Anna, even if she's got a Brig, even if there's a Widow on the field, even if she gets a Zarya bubble. Like, the two of you should pretty easily be able to do that, but you do have to have some semblance of communication of, okay, who's dropping the first bubble? Because these bubbles are, one bubble does everything that two bubbles do here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we just needed to communicate that he has first bubble, you have first bubble, whatever. And I honestly, even if it was just me, would not have been willing to drop this bubble as quick as you did. So here we are.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Looking at this, I see that. Totally see that my Winston's going on their Winston. Even if I get slept, it's not the end of the world. I'm doing this. I don't see her lifting, reaching towards her waistband for her sleep dart. I'm not popping this bubble.
Winston.
Like her tell is with her right hand, she reaches towards her waistband. Her elbow sort of sticks out. And if you don't see that, you got to be a little careful about using your bubble, because as soon as you've used your bubble, it's a leash that you can't really go past. Or if you do, you're just going to get insta slept once she knows that you don't have bubble available. So unfortunate. That's a long time
Winston.
to be staring at the Widow waiting on you to jump. Okay. There's a Widow there. Do you have leap?
I do not have leap.
So what do you need to do?
Find cover.
Turn your butt towards her. Literally just
Turn my butt.
180.
Okay, that's
Literally
smart.
just 180, because it's going to shrink your head hitbox for her massively. And then in the second and a half when your leap is back, you might 180 and leap at her again. But you can't do this. Can't do that. Can't let her hit that headshot. Yeah.
I need a health restore. Go. Lifting system health compromised. Join.
Enemies detected.
Right. We're going to have an energy disadvantage going into this fight. That's a little late to be going after the Tracer. I understand what you're doing. You're worried about the cart. I don't actually think you're going to be the one to contest the cart, though. I think that's just going to, in reality, fall to probably your Winston in this situation. It would usually be your Tracer. You obviously don't have a Tracer. Your Anna and Briggs aren't there. I don't really think this is going to fall to you. And, you know, pre-poking out a Tracer is great, but trying to dive on a Tracer in the middle of the fight, that's not going to get much value.
That was very much panic.
Panic.
Luka.
Yep.
This will
Okay.
Cheers, love. The cavalry's here. Back in the fight.
Please don't spend that blank. Please don't spend that blank. Okay. Do you know why I didn't like those last two blanks?
Back in the fight.
No, I don't. I have to watch it again.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. So you're in closed space that is pretty safe, right?
Yep.
And you just spent your third blank. So you have 0 blanks now, right?
Mhm.
And like you use that blank really to get to the fight faster, which I get it. There's pressure to be in the fight right now, but you're going to be able to sustain in the fight like 0 if you don't have blanks, right?
Yes.
So we just need to, as we get closer to when and where a fight is going to start, we need to start spending less blanks, and we especially want to be hesitant to spend blanks when we're in what is effectively a safe space for us. We're not out in the open where a Widow could tag us or chip damage could get us by someone that we're not looking at. We're in a safe spot right now. We want to save, we want to conserve blanks so that when we get into this fight, we have 2 blanks available. Again, I don't think anyone's paying attention to you, and you just blink when no one's paying attention to you. That's not great. Yes, it gets you closer to the Zarya so that you do more damage, but I need this blink to sustain in this fight. So that doesn't happen. Sure. Little one-dimensional. Play left. Good. Fine blank. Less good, but okay. Good.
Sorry, Cat. I'll take more of that.
Hello there. Salut. Hello. Got you.
I'm willing to transition up here. Like, you're playing here, but I'm perfectly willing to transition up here and play on this corner and just be a little more annoying to their Ana. That's way harder for them to deal with than me putting pressure on their monkey. Good.
Bombs away. And you get that feeling of deja vu.
Okay. Movement was a little sketch there.
Get
Did I just jumped while she scoped at me, right?
Right. So you're here, and you just immediately, like, you just fell forward effectively down the stairs in a straight line, and you jumped and are continuing on this 100% forward trajectory while she's shooting at you there. And, like, obviously you know a better Widows could be like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I could use some healing. Much better.
Do you think you can one-clip this Tracer after this blank?
I do not.
Okay. I'm probably willing to take it from a little further away, but you have 3 blinks, so that's fine. Like, yeah, I want you closing on her. I want you walking towards her, but I'm just not convinced I'd have taken that, spent that blank. But that's okay. You had 3 blinks at the time. Sure.
Now, where were we?
Okay. No, not here.
I need healing. Now,
Cool.
where were we?
You have 2 blinks effectively. No one's looking at you. Who was looking at you? What caused you to blink? Was it this Ash?
Nothing. I mean,
Yeah, it was.
nobody caused me to blink.
Right. At the time, nobody was looking at you. And if someone was looking at you, I'm not blinking forward here. I'm blinking back here to make their split even more extreme because I have another blink that I can still use to get to cover if I have to. So I'm going over here to force the bigger angle to make this harder for them to deal with. But yeah, okay. Took a moment, but you made the right decision. Good. Okay. So for Tracer, we talked a little bit about blink management out of fights as well as blink dodges in fights. For Echo, the lowest hanging fruit, the easiest thing for you to work on is going to be, hey, why are we reloading? Why are we spamming that reload button? Like that's causing us to miss out on shots that we can hit at Tracer, shots that we can hit on Winston. So that's like the lowest hanging, most obvious thing for you to work on. But the thing that's going to feel better and probably make a bigger difference, honestly, is going to be really understanding how to wrench these angles, how to go, hey, I want to be here so that I can wrench this angle for work. If my Winston's pushing in here, I want to be able to push in here. If my if my Winston is going here, yes, it's right to take the angle here, but I've also got to get the timing right to then come out in here. And like there is still, I can see it where there's still some uh, some more ability to do that. It was especially obvious on third when you spent so long on third when this cart did not have to end here. This could have absolutely ended here on your offensive round if you'd been more willing and more able to do this. Does that increase the odds of, yep, Ash is just going to headshot you sometimes and it's not going to be fun and you're going to go down? Yes. But in terms of the overall risk reward payoff that you get, doing much more of this is going to get you more done in terms of really, like, remember, if you're over here, they're Anna, they're Ash, they're Mercy, it's gonna pull so much attention to you, even if you play it pretty darn passively. And if they don't respect it enough, you're gonna get eliminations from here. And them spending 3 people's attention over here makes it so much easier for your team to move in, especially if you go, I push out the monkey a little bit. You guys already have Nano? Great. I'll pressure that monkey hard. Now I'll use flights and I'll go over here and I'll go do this because the monkey gets pressured hard. He backs off a little, or he's just not willing to pull the trigger on my team because he's missing 250 health as I go do this. And now my team rotates in easily. Like, you had a lot of ability to sort of be the pivot that didn't like win the game, but really unlocked this corner of the map much more significantly than you did. And then the third thing I'd give you from a macro team perspective for your Echo is I really would expect you to go in more with your monkey and to do less of the blow up their monkey thing. Blow up their monkey isn't an amazing strategy, especially if you use your own monkey to do it. But for Echo, you get to use that bubble that your monkey has as part of your offense. And I think you guys will find smoother sailing if you're going in. And we talked about why that is with the focusing beam, with the extra lives, with the when you duplicate their monkey, you're a lot more effective against the team that you've gone in on as opposed to peeling the monkey, all those things. So with that in mind, do you have questions either about any of those topics that I sort of went into as the things I'd like you to work on here, or more generally about Overwatch or anything here?
No, I don't think I have any questions.
Okay. Okay.
Which
Uh,
is
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm a little annoyed I don't have any questions, but you explained everything really well, so
Okay, I'm glad that made sense to you then. If something like you have a lingering question, you're like, oh, I should have asked Temporal that, that's fine. You can ping me something. If you hit me with a lot of questions or
okay.
really complicated questions, then I might say, hey, hop on voice chat real quick, or hey, let's
Yeah.
do a session. But if it's just a quick
Hmm.
question or two, you can absolutely do a quick follow up on Discord, and that'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks
let
so
me
much.